Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to topic 7. In this topic, I'm going to be explaining to you guys the different ways we add SketchUp material, how do we see it in our asset editor, and how do we basically start to edit that, and what all can we edit in SketchUp which will be seen in our render. So let's get straight to it. Now the first thing we have to understand is when I open up my bucket tool over here, I already showed you guys that we have given it red, green and blue, and I showed you guys in the asset editor that we are able to actually see that material over here. Now guys, understand one thing. Let's say I go ahead and I select metal and I give, let's say, this whole thing as metal. So what happens guys is it does not become blue, it actually becomes, metal like this. But this metal is not really looking like metal, it still just looks like a color. You can see when I put this tool just looks like this. It does not look realistic, it does not have that gloss, that glow in it, which we will definitely give, and I will show you guys how to give it. I'm just trying to explain to you guys that whatever we give from SketchUp does not really count that much. We can actually even give a green color and change it into something completely else. But why is it good to give textured materials like this? Now a small thing I'm just going to explain to you guys is when you have a color like green and you go into the edit, you guys can see over here it's just got green color, it's got its opacity. So if I reduce that opacity over here, you guys can see when I reduce that opacity over here, nothing gets affected in this VRay. You can see the green in VRay stays the same, and you can also see when I change a color over here, let's hop back and front over here, the color changes automatically, but still the opacity has not been seen over here. That means whatever we do over here to the opacity, it does not matter in VRay. You guys can see, because in the end of the day guys, whatever the color and the material looks like over here is actually what it really is. Now when I come into, let's say, this particular material, which is rusted metal, it's actually got a textured image, unlike our basic color which does not have a textured image. And when we remove the textured image, you can actually see that the material is going to lose that texture. Now you can see there is no more texture on this material because we have removed it from here. Now let's say I click on use textured image again, and we have got a couple of different images or a couple of different textures over here. Let's say I use this wood texture. Now any of these textures can easily be downloaded from the internet, right? You can just go on Google, find an image, type brick texture, asphalt texture, metal texture, and you can download a normal JPEG image and open it up over here. And the minute I attach that JPEG image, you can automatically see how this starts to look. And guys, you can notice that we can actually adjust the scale over here. So let me do that as 2 meters by 2 meters, and you can see when I readjust it, the scale does not seem to be changed a lot. It still looks like this over here. But as and when we proceed, you guys will see how we can make these materials look much better, how can we adjust the scales. But for now, I want you guys to understand what works over here might look over here something, but actually in the render it will not be seen. So that's something which I want you guys to understand from the SketchUp Material Settings. Now it's very simple to place texture, definitely, but again, as you guys can see, this texture does not look realistic, and for making it look realistic, we are going to have to get into the large settings or even adjust it through the quick settings over here, which we'll be getting into in its particular topics. In the next topic, I'm actually going to be getting into this material application over here, which is the VRay material application, and showing you guys how you can apply VRay material directly into SketchUp materials, and why is it important to add VRay material at times, and what VRay materials are, and how is it different from SketchUp materials. So I hope you guys understood how SketchUp materials are and how you can use these basic editing options over here to get the material to look in a certain way. Also, what works here might not work in the final output. So I hope you guys understood that. I'll see you guys in the next topic. Take care.